I just bought my dream house again. But this time, we're here to stay.
When most people think of success, they imagine luxury cars, sprawling homes, and a life free from financial worry. For Mat Armstrong, these things were not the finish line. They were milestones on a journey that began in struggle, sweat, and sacrifice. Today, when you see Mat standing in his dream house surrounded by gleaming supercars, it's easy to think he was simply lucky. But luck played almost no role in his story. Mat's journey is a testament to relentless ambition, calculated risks, and an unwavering belief in his dreams. It's a story of starting from nothing and building an empire from scratch, a tale that inspires everyone who dares to dream bigger than their circumstances. The path to his success was long, exhausting, and full of setbacks, but every step laid the foundation for the incredible achievements that would follow. Years ago, Mat Armstrong's life looked nothing like the success story it is today. Back then, he was a professional BMX rider, traveling the world and performing tricks in competitions that most people could only dream of. On the outside, this may have seemed like the ultimate dream. To the casual observer, BMXing was thrilling, exciting, and glamorous. But the reality was far different. Competitions were expensive, sponsors were scarce, and the money he earned often barely covered the cost of travel and equipment. Mat loved the sport, but passion alone could not pay the bills. To survive, he worked multiple jobs. Every day was a long grind. Mornings filled with BMX practice, afternoons spent working at a local Indian restaurant called Spice 45, and evenings dedicated to delivery driving and bartending. 7 days a week. With hardly any time to rest, Mat kept pushing forward. Each day felt like a relentless cycle of work, training, and exhaustion. Yet, through the struggle, he developed resilience and a work ethic that would later become his greatest asset. The years of relentless effort were not just about survival. They were about building skills, understanding discipline, and preparing for a future beyond BMX. While working his restaurant shifts, Mat began tinkering with cars in the parking lot during brief breaks. He had always been fascinated by mechanics, and this was his first real step into a new world. He learned by trial and error, getting his hands dirty with grease, facing countless failures, and developing practical problem-solving skills. At the same time, he realized that video documentation could amplify his efforts to get into BMX competitions. He needed to film and edit videos of his performances. He taught himself how to film, cut, and narrate stories on camera. At the time, these skills may have seemed minor or incidental, but they planted the seeds of the media-savvy career he would later cultivate. Every skill he acquired, every moment of hardship, was quietly preparing him for a bigger dream, one that would eventually surpass BMX in both passion and profit. As Mat's BMX career plateaued, he recognized the need to diversify his life and income. He took on a second job at Graham Goods, working 9 to 5 hours while still maintaining his exhausting restaurant shifts. Days were packed from morning until night, leaving him just enough time to continue riding his bike and experimenting with car repairs. Yet, it was during this period that a new vision began to form. Mat realized he could create a safer, more predictable future by investing in property. He began saving every penny he could, refurbishing houses and renting them out. This methodical approach allowed him to slowly build a small financial cushion and develop confidence in managing assets. Each house represented more than money. It was freedom, a way to eventually escape the relentless cycle of day jobs and create time for pursuits that truly ignited his passion. By combining discipline, ambition, and practicality, Mat was laying the groundwork for the life he envisioned. Despite these plans, life has a way of testing even the most disciplined dreamers. During this period, a sudden and unexpected event altered the course of Mat's journey. His partner, Hannah, suffered a serious car accident in her Audi TT. The vehicle was declared a total loss, yet instead of seeing it as a setback, Mat saw an opportunity. He decided to buy back the wrecked car and document its repair process on YouTube. This was the moment where Mat's second passion, cars and media, collided. What began as a personal project quickly evolved into something much bigger. He was not just fixing a car, he was telling a story. Viewers connected with his hands-on approach, his meticulous attention to detail, and the genuine enjoyment he radiated while solving complex problems. The channel began to grow, And for the first time, Matt experienced the potential of combining skill, passion, and storytelling into a viable career. The decision to invest his time and energy into YouTube required immense courage. Around the same time, the COVID-19 pandemic caused lockdowns across the United Kingdom, forcing Matt to be furloughed from his day job. The savings he had painstakingly built for his next house now sat in his bank account, and he faced a pivotal choice: continue the safe path to property investment or risk it all on his growing YouTube venture. Matt chose the latter. He used his house deposit to buy a crash-damaged Bentley Continental GT, a car far beyond anything he had ever tackled. It was an all-in gamble, a life-altering risk. If the project failed, he would be left with nothing. But Matt approached the challenge with the same grit he had applied throughout his life. He devoted every waking hour to rebuilding the vehicle, filming the process, editing videos, and sharing his journey. This gamble was a catalyst for a new chapter, one that would redefine his career and life. The Bentley project marked a turning point where Matt's dedication began to pay off in ways he could have never imagined. His channel began attracting viewers in droves, and soon he was earning enough from YouTube alone to leave his restaurant job behind. His evenings, once consumed by labor, were now dedicated entirely to car builds and video production. This newfound freedom allowed him to take bigger risks, buy more salvage vehicles, and experiment with increasingly complex projects. Each successful rebuild expanded his audience, increased engagement, and solidified his reputation as a skilled mechanic and storyteller. Matt was not merely repairing cars. He was constructing an empire, combining craftsmanship, media savvy, and entrepreneurial strategy in a way few could replicate. As the channel grew, sponsorships and collaborations soon followed. Major brands, including Squarespace and Carly, saw value not just in advertising, but in associating with Matt's story of relentless ambition and skill. Eventually, even Bentley took notice, inviting him to film at their legendary factory in Crewe. These opportunities were surreal, but they were also a reflection of years of preparation, skill building, and calculated risk-taking. Matt's reputation expanded beyond YouTube, reaching national newspapers, automotive enthusiasts, and industry insiders. He had transformed from a driveway mechanic into a media figure with credibility, influence, and a loyal audience. Every late night, every grueling shift, and every risk taken had built the foundation for this incredible trajectory. With the success of his channel, Matt reinvested his earnings into infrastructure, acquiring a professional industrial unit to escape the limitations of working outdoors and in cramped garages. This allowed him to tackle bigger, more ambitious projects, including luxury and supercars like the Lamborghini Murcielago, Aston Martin Vantage, and BMW M140i. The stakes were higher, the challenges more complex, and the payoff even greater. Each new project tested his skills, pushed creative boundaries, and further cemented his status as an authority in the automotive world. The growth was exponential. Subscriber numbers soared, collaborations expanded, and Matt's small operation began transforming into a full-scale business with a team, professional content, and a brand identity that resonated worldwide. Even as he achieved professional success, Matt remained grounded in the values that guided him from the beginning: hard work, discipline, and a willingness to take risks. He brought family into the operation, employing his partner Hannah and his father, creating a team that combined personal trust with professional efficiency. By doing so, he transformed his passion into a sustainable business model, allowing him to scale his efforts, take on larger projects, and continue creating content that inspired and engaged. Each success built upon the previous one, creating a chain reaction that turned years of struggle into a thriving career, financial stability, and personal fulfillment. Ultimately, Mat Armstrong's story is about much more than luxury cars, YouTube fame, or property investments. It's about vision, perseverance, and courage in the face of uncertainty. He took calculated risks, honed his skills relentlessly, and refused to settle for the ordinary. By leveraging his passions, embracing failure as a learning tool, and daring to pursue unconventional paths, Matt not only built his dream from nothing, but also created a roadmap for others to follow. His story serves as a reminder that success is rarely instantaneous or effortless. It is earned through dedication, creativity, and the audacity to take chances when others play it safe. In a world obsessed with shortcuts, Mat Armstrong's journey shows the enduring power of resilience, ambition, and relentless pursuit of one's dreams. By the time Mat Armstrong had purchased his dream house, the journey behind it was almost unimaginable. Years of relentless work, extreme sacrifices, and calculated risks that most people would never dare to take. From the early mornings riding BMX bikes, barely scraping by on sponsorships, to grinding through double shifts at a restaurant and a full-time job just to keep his passions alive. Every step had been a lesson in persistence and self-belief. Along the way, he discovered skills that seemed trivial at the time: video editing, storytelling, and hands-on car mechanics that would later define his career and open doors he never imagined existed. The turning point came during the 2020 lockdown, a moment of global uncertainty that could have halted his progress entirely. Instead, he used the opportunity to invest the savings he had painstakingly built for a house into a crash-damaged Bentley Continental GT, a gamble that, if it failed, would have left him with nothing. Pouring his energy, creativity, and technical skill into restoring the vehicle while documenting the process on YouTube, Mat tapped into a new world of opportunity. His channel began to grow exponentially, attracting thousands of viewers who were captivated not only by the cars, but by the story of a man who refused to settle, who risked everything for passion over safety. As sponsorships and collaborations rolled in, including invitations from Bentley and partnerships with well-known brands, he transformed from a garage mechanic into a media entrepreneur, running a team with his partner and father, scaling projects from modest builds to high-end supercars like Lamborghini, Aston Martin, and BMW. Each new risk brought greater rewards, and every late night spent in the workshop reinforced the principle that effort multiplied by persistence produces results far beyond what simple luck could achieve. Mat's story, which began with a BMX bike and a restaurant shift, had evolved into an empire built on courage, creativity, and uncompromising dedication. And yet, despite the fame, the houses, and the cars, what truly defined his journey was a relentless pursuit of a dream that most would have given up on long ago, a journey that proves that with vision, sacrifice, and unwavering belief in oneself, even the most impossible dreams can be built from nothing. As Mat Armstrong's channel grew, the small garage experiments he started for fun transformed into a full-blown career, one that demanded creativity, courage, and an unshakable work ethic. What began with a simple Audi TT rebuild quickly escalated to salvaging higher-end cars, each project more complex and demanding than the last. The thrill of tackling a wrecked Bentley and later an Audi S5 was not just a mechanical challenge, but in the realization that every video he made, every engine he fixed, and every moment he shared online connected him with a growing audience who believed in his story. The views climbed, the subscribers multiplied, and soon companies began to notice, a shift that marked the difference between a hobby and a business. Sponsors reached out, eager to associate their brands with the authenticity and hard work that Mat embodied. This attention was more than just validation. It was a signal that the path he had chosen, one of relentless pursuit of passion over safety, was not only sustainable but scalable. He was no longer merely working on cars. He was building a media brand, a business that combined storytelling, mechanical skill, and audience engagement in a way few had seen before. Yet, with each new opportunity came bigger risks. Renting an industrial workshop, for example, meant taking on expensive overheads and responsibility for a team, including his partner Hannah and later his father, who joined to support the growing operation. The decision was terrifying, yet it was essential to continue scaling. The workshop allowed Mat to work without interruption from the unpredictable British weather, to take on more ambitious builds, and to elevate production quality to professional standards. Projects that once would have seemed impossible, like rebuilding an Aston Martin Vantage, a Lamborghini, or a BMW 140i, became achievable under this new setup. Each successful project did more than improve the channel. It cemented his reputation, attracted new sponsors, and created a sustainable business model where risk and reward were directly proportional. The emotional payoff was immense. From living paycheck to paycheck to directing a team, traveling to extraordinary locations, collaborating with industry icons, and being featured in national publications, Mat's life had completely transformed. The late nights, the exhaustion, and the sacrifices suddenly felt worthwhile. Every challenge faced in the past, from the restaurant shifts to sleepless nights filming BMX competitions, had prepared him for this very moment. His story was no longer just about cars or videos. It had become a testament to the power of perseverance, vision, and the courage to follow one's instincts even when the world seemed uncertain. It was proof that when passion meets opportunity and hard work, the results are nothing short of extraordinary. Finally, after years of relentless effort, sacrifice, and calculated risk-taking, Mat Armstrong achieved what had once seemed impossible. He bought his dream house. It wasn't just a physical space. It was a symbol of every early morning, late night, and moment of doubt he had overcome. Standing in front of the property, surrounded by his collection of supercars, it was a tangible reminder of the journey from nothing to something extraordinary. The house represented not only financial success, but personal victory, the result of pursuing passion relentlessly, even when the safe, predictable path seemed more reasonable. Every brick, every renovation, and every investment along the way had prepared him for this moment. What made Matt's story so compelling was not the wealth of the cars, but the journey itself. The relentless pursuit of dreams that most would have abandoned long ago. From BMX competitions where he earned barely enough to survive, to double shifts at a restaurant, to sleepless nights restoring crash-damaged cars while filming videos on a shoestring budget. Every struggle had taught him skills that would later define his success. By risking his savings on a Bentley during the lockdown, he made a bold statement to himself and the world. Fortune favors the brave, and only by stepping into the unknown can you truly achieve greatness. With his channel exploding, sponsorships pouring in, and his team, including Han and his father, working alongside him, Matt had created more than just content. He had built an empire. Every car restored, every video edited, and every business decision contributed to a life far richer than money alone could buy. The dream house was the final piece of the puzzle, a symbol of resilience, courage, and vision. Looking back, it was clear that each sacrifice, each long night, and each calculated risk had been worth it, not because of the material rewards, but because of the freedom and fulfillment that came from building something with your own hands and heart. Mat Armstrong's story is a testament to the idea that true success is born from passion, hard work, and the willingness to bet on yourself, even when the odds seem impossible. It's a story that resonates with anyone chasing a dream, showing that with perseverance and belief in one's own potential, it's possible to turn nothing into everything. Mat Armstrong's story offers more than just a thrilling tale of cars and YouTube success. It is a masterclass in courage, vision, and the power of taking risks that many would avoid. One of the clearest lessons is that safety rarely leads to extraordinary results. From the moment he decided to risk his house deposit on a crash-damaged Bentley during the lockdown, Matt showed that calculated risks, guided by passion and preparation, can change the trajectory of a life. But it wasn't luck alone that fueled his rise. It was persistence, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to continuous learning. Every skill he picked up along the way, from BMX video editing to car mechanics, from property renovation to business management, was built quietly over time, often unnoticed by anyone but himself. His journey proves that small, incremental efforts compound into monumental outcomes, and that hard work without vision may be wasted, but hard work with purpose is unstoppable. Another vital lesson is resilience in the face of failure. Matt faced countless setbacks, jobs that barely paid, cars that refused to run, projects that went over budget, and even global lockdowns that threatened his plans. Yet he never gave up. Instead, he used each obstacle as an opportunity to adapt, learn, and push further. He also understood the importance of surrounding yourself with the right people. Bringing his partner Hannah and later his father into his growing operation not only allowed him to scale his business, but also reinforced an emotional support system that made risks manageable and progress sustainable. Perhaps most importantly, Matt's journey illustrates that success is not measured purely in money, cars, or subscriber counts, but in freedom, the ability to spend your time doing what you love, to pursue your passions without compromise, and to create something meaningful from nothing. For viewers and aspiring entrepreneurs, the takeaway is clear. Be willing to start small, embrace the grind, learn every skill that will support your dream, and don't shy away from bold moves. Mat Armstrong's story is a blueprint for turning ambition into action, showing that with courage, persistence, and a relentless work ethic, anyone can transform their dreams into reality, no matter how impossible they may seem at first glance. Looking back on Mat Armstrong's journey, it's impossible not to be inspired by the sheer determination, creativity, and courage that transformed his life from ordinary to extraordinary. From the early days of BMX competitions and grueling restaurant shifts to sleepless nights restoring wrecked cars, he never let obstacles define him. Each challenge, every setback, became a stepping stone rather than a roadblock, showing that resilience is a foundation of true success. Today, Matt stands as more than a successful YouTuber or media figure. He is a living example of what can happen when passion meets persistence, when calculated risks are embraced rather than feared, and when skills are developed quietly but purposefully over time. The dream house, the supercars, the thriving business, and the devoted audience are all symbols of the hard work, sacrifices, and leaps of faith he made along the way. Yet what makes his story resonate the most is not the material success, but the message it carries. That anyone, no matter where they start, can build something remarkable if they commit fully to their vision. For viewers, creators, and aspiring entrepreneurs, Matt's path serves as both a roadmap and a beacon of hope. It is proof that patience, courage, and an unwavering belief in oneself can turn even the most humble beginnings into an empire. Whether it's risking a house deposit on a Bentley, learning video editing to compete in BMX competitions, or gradually scaling a workshop into a media powerhouse, the lesson is universal. Nothing worth achieving comes easy, but everything worth achieving is possible. Mat Armstrong's story reminds us that the greatest victories are often born from relentless effort, daring choices, and an unshakable commitment to turning dreams into reality. It is a story of triumph that inspires, motivates, and challenges each of us to examine our own dreams, to take calculated risks, and to push forward even when the odds are stacked against us, proving that with enough courage and perseverance, anyone can truly build their dream from nothing. Mat Armstrong's journey is a story of resilience, courage, and the relentless pursuit of a dream. From humble beginnings to owning his dream house and running a thriving media empire, his life shows that passion, determination, and calculated risks can turn the impossible into reality. Every part of his journey, whether BMX competitions, grueling double shifts at restaurants, or rebuilding crash-damaged cars, was built on sacrifice, skill, and an unwavering commitment to his vision. This is a story of how Mat Armstrong built his dream from nothing, the lessons he learned along the way, and the inspiration he leaves for anyone chasing their own goals. Be why the time Mat Armstrong had purchased his dream house, the journey behind him was almost unimaginable. Years of relentless work, extreme sacrifices, and calculated risks that most people would never dare to take. From the early mornings riding BMX bikes, barely scraping by on sponsorships, to grinding through double shifts at a restaurant and a full-time job just to keep his passions alive. Every step had been a lesson in persistence and self-belief. Along the way, he discovered skills that seemed trivial at the time: video editing, storytelling, and hands-on car mechanics that would later define his career and open doors he never imagined existed. The turning point came during the 2020 lockdown, a moment of global uncertainty that could have halted his progress entirely. Instead, he used the opportunity to invest the savings he had painstakingly built for a house into a crash-damaged Bentley Continental GT, a gamble that, if it failed, would have left him with nothing. Pouring his energy, creativity, and technical skill into restoring the vehicle, while documenting the process on YouTube, Matt tapped into a new world of opportunity. His channel began to grow exponentially, attracting thousands of viewers who were captivated not only by the cars, but by the story of a man who refused to settle, who risked everything for passion over safety. As sponsorships and collaborations rolled in, including invitations from Bentley and partnerships with well-known brands, he transformed from a garage mechanic into a media entrepreneur, running a team with his partner and father, scaling projects from modest builds to high-end supercars like Lamborghini, Aston Martin, and BMW. Each new risk brought greater rewards, and every late night spent in the workshop reinforced the principle that effort multiplied by persistence produces results far beyond what simple luck could achieve. Matt's story, which began with a BMX bike and a restaurant shift, had evolved into an empire built on courage, creativity, and uncompromising dedication. And yet, despite the fame, the houses, and the cars, what truly defined his journey was a relentless pursuit of a dream that most would have given up on long ago, a journey that proves that with vision, sacrifice, and unwavering belief in oneself, even the most impossible dreams can be built from nothing.